You mentioned possibly disbanding Ulster Rugby. Does Eamonn on the back page of Sunday Independent today. You mentioned outside as well, Kieran, if we were to do a documentary about Irish rugby this year, it would be the most remarkable thing in the world because of the extreme highs and extreme lows that we've seen. Even over the course of the last 2-3 months alone, it's been
well, like it reminds me. I know they're very different incidents. Clearly, you have to make that clear. But if you look at the documentaries around '94 World Cup and tying in what was going on with O.J. Simpson thing, so you had this like a huge sporting event, and then this massive event involving a sports person, but that was just completely off the radar. And now you have this, like, you have an Irish team not only winning a Grand Slam, but cruising to a Grand Slam. You have a possible All-Ireland final in Bilbao, of all places, between Leinster and Munster. And in the backdrop, the rape trial that went on for ages, that consumed it so much, so many people were obsessed with, and that has made a lot of people question a lot of aspects of rugby culture and even of male culture in Ireland. That, like, you would need to be a really good documentary maker or a good writer if you're writing a book about it to do justice to it. But I actually hope somebody does, because it's an amazing story. Like it's been one of the most fascinating periods in Irish sport I can remember the last few months, because of all the questions that it's thrown up.
Possibly a little bit of distance would be required from it, I think, at this stage, to try and get, I suppose, everything in order to see where the two lads.
And you do find as well that with distance, people will talk.
Yeah.
Like in a few years' time, Joe Schmidt might talk, or Rory Best, about what the last few months have been like for them. But they're not going to talk now.
There's an interesting suggestion from Eamonn. It's not something I would necessarily agree with. It says it's been suggested the Belfast court case and the resultant absence of Paddy Jackson and Stuart Olding are partly to blame for Ulster's continuing underwhelming form. Anyone making that argument should remember that last season Munster had to cope with the tragic death of their coach, yet still make it to the Champions Cup semi-final. They knuckled down, battled on, and didn't feel sorry for themselves. I'm not too sure the comparison sit well together. I think the air of uncertainty for Ulster has hung over them for possibly a year or more now regarding this situation, whereas unfortunately with death, what you're left with is an immediate sense of finality. And you have to, like, this is the situation and you have to get over it. Literally not knowing from 1 minute to the next who your head coach is going to be next year, who your director of rugby is going to be next year, whether or not you have your best out half and one of your best centres available to you over the course of a year. I mean, that can't be good for the morale of the team as a whole. Not that I have a great deal of sympathy for them, given the statement that came out this week, but at the same sense, from a playing point of view, they haven't known what fork in the road to take at all in the past year, and that's got to be a difficult thing to manage, and I'm not sure the comparison sits so easily together. I don't know your view on it, Kieran.
I don't think no, I would agree that it mightn't be the fairest comparison to make, but he's right to bring this up, because it's a very interesting thing. Where does Ulster go from here? And where does Ulster go within Irish rugby now? Because even the way the wagons were circled up there with a lot of supporters and with public letters and support to them, and Willie John McBride, that there's a division here. Whereas Tony Ward wrote a really strong column in the Indo during the week about how there's so many aspects of rugby culture, even though the laddish thing, even gone back in his day, that people think was great fun, and he says, I despise that. Like, we have to get rid of all this crap. So I think a lot of people have to face up. Like, there seems to be a fair amount of people in Ulster that just want to blame the media, or particularly blame social media for all this. And there's a lot more to play than that.
It's pointing the finger in the wrong direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that stage.